Hello everyone. I was working and I had a few questions. And I thought I should share that with you. I was thinking, each of us, we have our own style of working, our own preferred processes, the way we do things, what we like and how we like it. But did you ever stop to wonder why we are the way we are? Why we prefer these processes or that particular style, or say, hey, this is my way of doing it? I was thinking on those, and then I realized that when we look back and turn back, there might be a very small incident or a passing influence which would have created these patterns in all of us, right? And that is what is the most fascinating for me. So I was trying to learn this new way of working, but it was becoming difficult. And I was trying to think why. And then it took me back, way back, to one particular influence and one particular person. And I thought I should share that with you. You see, my father comes from that business background. He is a businessman. And in the earlier organization, there were 3 partners. And that is where I grew up. I was born in that phase of the company being built. So early memories were always around machinery, running across the factory, everything related to the company. And it was one big family in a way where the 3 partners, my dad and 2 of his partners, we all lived together in the same building, different floors. And there was no distinction between work life and personal life. Everyone was living together. Everything used to happen together. I mean, all of you must have got used to work from home post-pandemic, right? But that was what I grew up in. One of the partners, the R&D person, always preferred working from home. So that was the way it was. That was natural. And the meetings would happen at home. People would keep coming and going. Professional relations, clients, and all these people became friends, and family friends, relatives, everyone would be mingling across. And that was how life was. And I grew up in that. And you see, while I was growing up and as I was interacting with these people, molds, how people should be, what is that mold they should be fit in, started getting created inside my mind as that child, right? From my few days of my life, I grew up in that. You see, my father is the marketing side of the organization. He's this suave 6'3", very well dressed, and would hold on to the attention of people. The moment he walked into a room, all eyes would be on him. Any presentation, any discussion, people would never be able to take their eyes off. It was the presence that he commanded, what we think of in leaders, right? The awe-inspiring, lights in the eyes of the team kind of a leader. And I used to interact with this team a lot because they used to hang out at home, and as kids we would hang out in the factory. And a small compliment from him would make their day. And everyone would be trying to ape him. Everyone would be trying to learn his style of handling clients or greeting people, presenting the organization. And he would be coaching them in that way. I mean, the first ever concept of coaching, without even knowing the word, I actually saw it happening there. So for me, you see, the R&D person, the technical person, who was working quite serious into the books, into the lab, into the machinery, into the quality, That was a particular mold, all the engineers. And here is this team of dynamic marketing people who are out there and putting their best foot forward, presenting that side of the organization and fascinating the market, the company, the clients. And then the other side of the finance team, the third partner was the finance person. So the serious and no nonsense finance people, that team, everything was getting, slotted into molds, into buckets. And okay, this is the mold of the marketing people, this is the mold of the engineering team, this is the finance team, these are the clients, these are the vendors. That was the formative thing. And yeah, why I knew it more was because we all interacted, but I also used to work for the organization during my college days. And it was one of those days where I was given the task of setting up the lab for microbial studies, a different story for another day. During that time, a new team member joined my dad. And when I was introduced, I thought I misheard. I thought this person was the R&D team person, and I must have misheard that he's dad's team. Because you see, I'm used to these marketing mold, right? And here is this person, nice and chubby and sweet, always with a smile, very calm. The demeanor was always that soft person, very introverted, never would come out and talk out of turn, never would he push himself forward. For the life of me, I can't remember his name, because in my mind I named him BEMBA. Quite funny. See, because the way the molds formed was also in that way, that all the engineering team with their technical degrees, and all the marketing team or the management team with their management degrees. And here is this person who is an engineer, a BE, and then chose to go into management. That's the first time ever I encountered a person with that combination. So that stuck in my mind. I used to always call him BE MBA. In my mind, never outside. So, and till now I just don't remember that name. I wish I could, and I wish I kept in touch, but that's a different story. You should that was the confusion. And then while working, obviously I was not in his team. I was just introduced to him. I was the younger one, and he was quite interested in the kind of work I was doing, and asked me, etc. And very softly, very in a comforting way. Like that of a professor or your favorite teacher, etc. Not that dynamic salesperson. And during my work of setting up the lab, I would also accompany them to the clients, give my presentations, and try to understand what are the changes I'll have to make, etc. And then I used to see him present in his element, right? When it was his area of work, that is when he would be in his element. He would just come alive, trying to understand the problem statement of the client, trying to present what was on offer from our side, trying to match these two. The challenge of persuading the client, the challenge of negotiation, it was him in his element. It was nothing like what I was used to till then, right? And then the moment that the so-called spotlight is off and his job is done, back to that introverted, soft demeanor. Even during the presentation, that was who he was, but the passion came through, his how immersed he was in it, that came through. And that is when I learned something. You're there to get the job done. You're not there to fit into that mold. Way back during my undergraduation days, while observing this person, the BE MBA, that was the most precious lesson I learned. That yes, you have to be there, understand what the job is, understand who you are, what you bring to the table. Have the belief and have the faith that you can get that job done, and who you are is adding to the value of the process. Yes, there is a process. I used to go through the process, go through the emotions, and I learned that you have to, even though you don't like it, the existing well-trodden path might not suit you, you might not like it, but you will have to go through it to understand what is required to get the job done. And then, because you have not lost the essence of who you are, that is when the inside, the person, the element comes out. And with that, when you adapt yourself to the process and the process to you, the magic happens. There is no mold, there is no said way, it is your way. So yes, there is a well-trodden path. Yes, people expect you to be in molds. Yes, you have to get the job done. But also, yes, there is that inside value, the value inside you that you bring, the breath of fresh air that your perspective brings in. And that is how change happens, right? Just imagine that. I used to see him light up, and it was so very different to everything that the rest of the team were doing. And he had the conviction to stay true to himself, yet get the job done in the way that was expected, with all the parameters, the components, the result needed, but in his own way, in his own style, in his own process. When that conviction and that belief, internal conviction, meets the external process and the task, the way we were talking about yesterday, the leader inside you just jumps forth, jumps up in joy and starts dancing around the task. And the result becomes this magic. And then there is this new path laid, a new process formed, an improvement, a transformation, whatever you would want to call it. So yes, explore the processes. Yes, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you don't have to replicate it. Go out there, explore, be true to yourself, and create magic. See you again.